Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unit 3. Unit 3 is my favorite unit, but it's okay if it's not yours. We're going to be talking about literature and what that means. And usually that's a very frightening word for some people. Unfortunately, people have come to see literature as Shakespeare and something that's incomprehensible. But I believe literature can be found almost everywhere around us. We hear it in the popular music that we might be downloading or listening to on Spotify. You can even see literature sometimes in television commercials or in the newspaper. I actually was a huge sports fan growing up, and I remember at some very critical moments the day after a huge game, or at the time of the Olympics, I remember that there was an amazing sports writer for the Los Angeles Times. I grew up in Orange County, and so I would read the Los Angeles Times every morning. And I remember reading the articles by a man named Jim Murray, and he was just a phenomenal writer. Literature can be found all around us, and here's what I am calling this unit. I am talking about the 5 senses, and the first unit was a sense of place. The second unit was a sense of self. This unit, Unit 3, is a sense of purpose. Now, we've already talked about the TAP test, knowing your topic, your audience, and your purpose as you are writers. Well, it's true for every kind of writing out there, and it's true for literature. You have to know why something is being written. And to do that, you also need to know the context around the thing that was written. So if it's a book by Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn, you need to know why he wrote the words he wrote. And it was a very shocking book when it appeared. And what's even more amazing is it's a book which seems to promote the idea, thankfully, that helping a runaway slave get to freedom is a purpose that is noble. And you've got to know that Mark Twain grew up in the Confederacy. He fought for the Confederacy briefly, and then he actually deserted. He ran away from battle, and that, again, it shows a lot about Mark Twain and his character. He's a funny man, but he's also a very human man. And the thing is, Mark Twain grew up immersed, submerged in slavery, the culture, the context of slavery. And so when we read Huckleberry Finn, if you ever do, even just a little bit of it, you'll see that he is using the language that was common around him at the time. Some people say we should ban the book Huckleberry Finn because of its language, because of the use of racial epithets, words that we ban from our language today. Because those words are in Huckleberry Finn, some people say we shouldn't read it. I would say think deeply about this and make sure that you're not closing off a way to know who people are. And so I have a wish. I have a wish for you, and a wish for me, and a wish for the world. And WISH actually stands for a window into the soul of humanity. That's what literature is, or it's what it should be. So during this unit, we're going to be exploring literature. We're going to be learning about the purpose of writing literature. And you're going to do this by writing a literary analysis. This is often the most challenging paper for students in this course. And so I'm here to help. I want to support you. Writing about literature is something that is my personal passion, but I totally understand if it's not yours. Remember that this unit will have the same structure. We will have quizzes due by the Sunday of the first 2 weeks, and the third week we don't have a quiz. But remember, you also have your discussion board postings, and those should be done by the midpoint, the Wednesday which is the second week Wednesday. And then you should respond to a peer by the end of the unit. We also have our blog post that we need to write one entry by the end of the second week, and then you'll have a debrief, including the OWL process. And I just want to say, please submit your papers to the OWL early. I'd say no later than by the second Sunday of this unit. And that means after 2 weeks, you need to have it ready to go for the OWL. They get swamped, as you can imagine. If every student in a writing class is submitting to the OWL, usually toward the end of a unit, it's going to be a glut, and it's going to be a traffic jam. So please plan ahead, get your papers submitted to the OWL so that you can get the feedback you need. And also, if you want my feedback, please submit it during the second week, no later than the second Sunday, because I need time to give you feedback. And you can consider that along with the OWL feedback. You should also be working with your editing partner. So this is again a quick overview of this third unit, Sense of Purpose. I hope that you will find this rewarding. One thing I want you to know is that I've given you some model selections. If you look at the bottom of the unit page in this course, you'll see a long list of stories and poems, and these are the ones that you need to choose from. Please understand that I respect all kinds of literature. You might be reading Stephen King or a guy named James Lee Burke. There are plenty of writers who are considered popular fiction. The books you find at the airport that you can quick read on an airplane. But those writers actually are extremely talented. Stephen King wrote The Shawshank Redemption, a short story that became one of the most amazing movies of all time. And he wrote The Green Mile and Stand By Me. Those were also short stories. James Lee Burke is considered one of the masters of writing in the crime fiction genre. He writes in the near New Orleans, and it's amazing how he writes and brings you into a scene. So I will be giving you short videos about different elements that you can consider as you study literature. And hopefully, if you do have a literature course, or if you have another course where you're reading a book, maybe you can use what you're learning in this class to write for that course as well. Thanks for watching, and God will bless you and will give you a sense of purpose during this unit.